What if the strangest, most vivid dream you've ever had wasn't random at all? What if it was a map? In 1935, one of the most respected psychiatrists in the world sat down with a 1,000-year-old Tibetan text describing in exact detail what the mind encounters in the moments after death. And he made a claim that stunned the academic world. Carl Jung said the gods and demons described in that book weren't spirits. They weren't hallucinations. He said they were you, fragments of your own unconscious mind, so powerful, so vivid, that an ancient culture had no choice but to describe them as divine.
And here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. Jung believed you don't have to die to meet them. He believed they're already visiting you, tonight, in your dreams. There's a reason certain dreams feel less like memory and more like an encounter, a figure too vivid, a fear too large, a peace too complete to have come from nowhere. Tonight, we're going to open that same ancient text Jung studied and use it exactly the way he did, not as a guide for dying, but as a map of what's already happening inside your mind every single night. By the end of this, you won't listen to your dreams the same way again. Let's begin.
Let your body soften now. Let your breath begin to slow. Whatever urgency you just felt in that opening, hold on to its curiosity, but let your body release its edge. The mind can be alert, and the body can be at rest at the same time. That, in fact, is exactly the state we're aiming for tonight. If you were with us for our first night in this series, you already know the shape of what we're doing here. Using Carl Jung's psychology to read the symbolic language your subconscious speaks while you sleep. Tonight, we go somewhere Jung himself went, into a text most people assume is only about death, and discover why he insisted it was, in fact, about something happening in every one of us, every single night. If you were with us for our first night in this series, you already know the shape of what we're doing here. Using Carl Jung's psychology to read the symbolic language your subconscious speaks while you sleep. Tonight, we go somewhere Jung himself went, into a text most people assume is only about death, and discover why he insisted it was, in fact, about something happening in every one of us, every single night. Before we continue, our small anchor, as always. If you'd like, in the comments below, write, "I am ready to meet what my dreams are showing me." Let this be your marker tonight, a signal that you're willing to look directly at whatever your own mind has been trying to show you. Let your eyes close. Let your jaw loosen. Let your hands rest, open, wherever they happen to be. Let us speak plainly about what happened in 1935, because it's a genuinely remarkable moment in the history of psychology. Carl Jung was asked to write a psychological commentary on a new English translation of an ancient Tibetan text known as the Bardo Thodol, often translated in the West as the Book of the Dead. It describes in extraordinary symbolic detail 3 stages of experience the mind moves through after the body dies: an encounter with pure, blinding clarity, a passage through radiant, peaceful figures, and then terrifying, wrathful ones, and finally, a descent back toward rebirth. Most Western readers of the time treated this as religious folklore, interesting anthropology, nothing more. Jung read it very differently. He proposed something radical. Read backward, starting from the final stage and moving toward the first, this ancient map was not describing an external spiritual journey at all. It was describing with startling precision the psychological process of what he called individuation, the lifelong work of integrating the unconscious mind that we've explored together in earlier nights of this channel. Jung wrote that the peaceful and wrathful figures described in the text, the serene, radiant deities and the fierce, monstrous ones, were not external beings at all. They were, in his words, projections of the unconscious, the mind's own contents given shape and form so vivid that a culture without modern psychological language had no way to describe them except as gods and demons. This is worth sitting with because it means something quite direct for tonight's work. If Jung was right, then what an ancient tradition described as encounters in the afterlife, your own mind may be offering you in smaller, gentler form every single night in the form of dreams. Think about the dreams that have felt less like memory replaying and more like an encounter, a figure who seemed to know something you didn't, a fear so large it woke you gasping, a moment of peace so complete you didn't want to leave it. Jung would suggest these are not random. They are your own psyche, using the same symbolic machinery that ancient traditions once described as sacred, communicating something it couldn't get through to you any other way. I want to be precise about something here, because it matters. Jung was not claiming the Tibetan tradition was wrong about what it believed regarding death and the afterlife. He approached it with genuine respect, as a serious spiritual and philosophical system in its own right. What he offered was a second, complementary lens, a psychological reading alongside the spiritual one, suggesting that a map this detailed, this consistent, this recognizable across so many individual human minds must be describing something real about the architecture of consciousness itself, whatever else it may also be describing. I want to add one more layer to what Jung actually observed, because it deepens tonight's work considerably. He noticed something he found remarkable: the specific order in which the ancient text presents its stages, clarity first, then vision, then rebirth, mirrors almost exactly what a person moving toward greater psychological wholeness experiences in reverse, moving from confusion and fragmentation through confrontation with disowned material toward moments of genuine clarity and integration. This is why he suggested reading the text backward for psychological purposes, starting with what the tradition calls the ordinary confusion of unexamined life, moving through the vivid confrontation with one's own projected figures, and arriving, finally, at glimpses of the same clear, spacious awareness described in that first, most difficult to sustain stage. In other words, the map of dying, read in reverse, becomes a map of psychological growth during life. Jung was cautious, and I want to be equally cautious here tonight, about the difference between using this text as spiritual doctrine and using it as what he called an unconscious projection test, a kind of mirror held up to the reader, revealing far more about the structure of the human mind in general than about any specific claim regarding literal life after death. Whether or not you hold any particular belief about what happens after we die, the psychological reading stands on its own, useful and testable in the most immediate way possible, through your own dreams, tonight and every night. There is a phrase Jung used that I want to offer you directly, because it captures something essential about tonight's entire journey. He wrote that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. The peaceful and wrathful figures we're about to meet tonight are not asking to be worshipped or feared. They are asking simply to be recognized, because recognized material loses its power to operate on you invisibly from behind the scenes of your own waking choices. Tonight, we're going to use this same psychological lens, not to explore what happens after death, but to explore what's already happening in you every night in the ordinary, extraordinary act of falling asleep, dreaming, and waking again. Let us walk through the 3 stages the ancient text describes, and let us do what Jung did. Read them not as a map of dying, but as a map of what happens in miniature every single time you fall asleep. The first stage the text describes is a moment of blinding, all-encompassing clarity, a light so complete it's described as the purest nature of mind itself, appearing the instant consciousness releases its grip on the body. Jung noticed something remarkable. This maps almost exactly onto what happens psychologically at the moment of falling asleep. The instant the ego, the analytical, vigilant, waking mind, finally lets go of its grip on control. You are approaching that exact threshold right now. Feel it, if you can, the particular quality of the mind just before sleep. Spacious, undefended, briefly free of the constant narration that fills your waking hours. This is not death, but it is, in its own small way, a nightly rehearsal of letting go completely, trusting something larger than the conscious will to carry you forward. Let yourself rest in this threshold a moment longer. In for 4 counts, out for 6. There is nothing to grip here. Only this brief, clear space between one state and the next. The second stage the text describes is the most vivid, a passage through radiant, peaceful figures, and then, if the mind cannot rest in their presence, through fierce, wrathful ones. Jung's insight here is the heart of everything we're exploring tonight. He believed these figures are not external. They are the unconscious mind's own contents, given face and form. This is precisely what happens in the dreaming mind, night after night, whether or not the images feel this dramatic. The parts of you that are generous, wise, at peace, these appear in dreams as guides, as helpers, as figures of unexpected warmth. And the parts of you that are frightened, disowned, unintegrated, the very shadow material we've explored together in earlier episodes of this channel, these appear as the pursuers, the monsters, the fierce and frightening figures that jolt you awake with your heart pounding. I want you to consider, gently, without needing an answer tonight, which figures have visited you more often in your own dreaming life? The peaceful ones, offering guidance you didn't know you needed, or the wrathful ones, chasing, threatening, demanding to finally be faced? Neither answer is better than the other. Both are simply information about which parts of your own mind are currently asking loudest to be seen. Let us add one more dimension to the second stage, the passage of visions, because it explains something many people notice but rarely understand about their own dreaming pattern. Why certain figures seem to escalate, growing more intense over successive dreams, rather than simply repeating identically each time. The ancient text describes the peaceful figures appearing first, followed by the wrathful ones, as though the mind offers its gentler material first and only escalates to fiercer imagery if the gentler offering goes unrecognized. Jung observed something similar in the dreams of his patients, an unconscious material that starts by knocking softly through mild, easily overlooked dream imagery, and grows progressively louder, more dramatic, more difficult to ignore the longer it goes unacknowledged by the waking mind. This offers a genuinely useful way of listening to your own recurring dreams, A figure or theme that keeps returning, growing slightly more intense each time, is very often not random repetition. It is closer to a message being sent with increasing urgency, precisely because earlier, gentler versions of the same message went unreceived. I want to offer a word of reassurance here, because this insight can sound alarming if taken the wrong way. This escalation is not punishment, and it is not a sign that something has gone wrong. It is simply the nature of unconscious material, patient, persistent, and remarkably good at finding new symbolic language when an earlier attempt failed to land. The moment the material is genuinely recognized, even once, the escalation typically stops. The mind, in this sense, is not trying to frighten you. It is trying, by whatever means necessary, to finally be heard. The ancient text offers something crucial here, something Jung considered psychologically vital: the instruction at each frightening encounter not to flee, but to recognize, to understand that what appears fierce and external is in fact one's own mind, and that recognition itself dissolves the terror. This is the exact practice we explored together in our last night in this series, turning to face the shadow figure rather than running from it, asking it simply what it carries that you have been unwilling to carry yourself. The third and final stage the text describes is a pull toward rebirth, consciousness, having passed through clarity and vision, drawn forward by its own accumulated patterns toward a new form. In our nightly version of this journey, this is simply waking, consciousness gathering itself back into the familiar shape of your waking identity, carrying forward, whether you notice it or not, whatever was processed during the night's passage through vision and shadow. This is why the quality of your waking, the feeling you carry in those first moments of morning, matters so much more than most people realize. It is not disconnected from the night that preceded it. It is the direct continuation of whatever passage your mind just completed. Let us practice this directly now, gently, as you drift closer to sleep. I want you to imagine standing in a wide, dim room, the air soft, the light low and even. This is the threshold space Jung described. Not frightening, simply undefined, waiting to take shape from whatever your own mind brings forward tonight. Imagine first a peaceful figure beginning to take shape ahead of you. Radiant, calm, entirely without threat. You don't need to know who or what they are yet. Simply let them approach at whatever pace feels right. As they draw closer, I want you to remember Jung's insight. This figure is not separate from you. It is a part of your own mind, given shape, your own capacity for peace, for wisdom, for warmth, made visible. Let yourself receive whatever quality this figure represents, without needing to name it precisely. Now, gently, without alarm, imagine a second figure beginning to take shape at the edge of the room. This one fiercer, more intense, carrying whatever quality in you has felt too large, too frightening. Remember the practice from our last night together. You do not need to flee this figure. Turn toward it, gently, and ask simply, what do you carry that I have been unwilling to carry myself? Notice, without forcing anything, whether this figure softens at all when met rather than fled. Jung believed that recognition alone, simply seeing a feared image as one's own mind rather than an external threat, begins to dissolve its terror. You do not need a complete resolution tonight. You only need this one act of turning toward rather than away. Let us pause here and move slowly through the body, gathering what tonight's meeting has touched before we descend fully into rest.
Bring your attention to your chest, where the peaceful figure's warmth may still be settling. Let it rise and fall freely, held by whatever calm this figure offered. Bring your attention to your shoulders, which may have braced instinctively when the fiercer figure appeared. Let them drop now, the bracing no longer needed. The figure met rather than fled. Bring your attention to your whole body, standing in that quiet threshold room, no longer separate from either figure, simply whole, simply present, simply resting in the recognition that both belong to the same undivided mind. Let both figures, the peaceful and the fierce, simply exist in this space with you now, neither one demanding to be chosen over the other. Both belong to you. Both are simply parts of the same whole mind, momentarily given face and form. We have walked an unusual road tonight, from a startling opening question into one of psychology's strangest and most genuine encounters with ancient wisdom, and finally into a direct meeting with the figures your own mind has been offering you all along. Feel your body now, heavy against the bed. Let the threshold room dissolve gently, its peaceful and wrathful visitors settling back into the quiet unity they came from. You do not need to remember every detail of tonight's journey. What matters has already been offered, and what matters will continue its own quiet work, whether or not the conscious mind holds on to the specifics by morning. Let your breathing return to its own natural rhythm now, unmanaged, unguided, the same rhythm that has carried every human mind in every era through this same nightly passage, long before any book, ancient or modern, tried to map it. The mind is now a calm place to rest. Whatever figures visit you tonight, may you meet them not with fear, but with recognition. Rest now.